Shalom, shalom, YouTube viewers. Double honors and blessings to my pastor and the leadership of Straitway Ministries, my pastor, Pastor Dowell. I come before you this day on this video to give you my eyewitness account of what it is to have lived with Pastor Rufus Carswell Jr. for a decade. Now, with that being said, this will be a video to give you some insight of his character and his behavior over the years. When I first met Pastor Rufus Carswell Jr., it was at a conference that Pastor Dowell was hosting, or the speaker of, in Chicago in 2012. That's the first time I met Brother Rufus Carswell Jr. at that time. And seemed to be a good brother. Pastor Dowell introduced us, said that we was gonna love each other because we both were in good standing at that time, and Pastor Dowell put us together. He must have had an unctioning from the Most High at that time, because he kind of put us together already, now, hindsight, looking back on that, it kind of like he already said, hey, you two are going to be together. But to fast forward past that a little bit, Pastor Dowell came to me at Tabernacles 2014, and pretty much let me know that he wanted to assign me to Straitway, Georgia, to be the builder down in Georgia, to help develop the land and any other things that needed to be done around the land, just to be the builder, handyman for the land. And I was going to work on the land and be there for whatever needed to be done. When I got here, I hit the land, hit the ground running. I was fixing things around the double wide trailer and around the land. But let me digress a little bit. I skipped a part. Before Straitway, Georgia was actually put together here in Lyerly, Brother Rufus Carswell and some of the saints were living up in Lookout Mountain. Now, they had been put out of a place, well, not necessarily put out, but I guess they had to find somewhere else to stay previous to Lookout Mountain. But they landed at Lookout Mountain, and here it is, it was happening again. The person that owned Lookout Mountain, the house that they were living in, renting, wanted more money, from what I was told, by the saints and Brother Carswell Jr. at the time. And they needed a place to go because he wanted more money, and they didn't want to pay more money. They also had a sister with them that had 6 children and pregnant with another one, who had just recently left her children's father. I think he was incarcerated or something like that. Don't quite remember exactly. But so at that time, Pastor Dowell had a phone conference with certain brothers in the ministry to get together to put some funds together to buy land and a trailer to put on the land for Brother Carswell and the saints to live. So in the spur of the moment, we found a little piece of land here in Lyerly and got them a trailer, put it on there. Boom, they got a place to stay. Now, this was not supposed to be a permanent place. It was supposed to be a place for them to live in without having to worry about getting put off or having to look for anywhere else to live. They were supposed to be following the blueprint of the ministry. And the blueprint of the ministry was to follow Straitway, the hub blueprint. And at that time, Brother Rufus Carswell was touting, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has already been die cast and we're just going to follow it. So from me having conversations with Elder Rufus Carswell at this time, he was looking for land. Found a plot for five acres. That fell through. Found a plot for 10 acres. That fell through. It was reiterated to me about the 10 and the 5 acres in a later conversation that we had when he was a pastor. But this was a temporary dwelling, and it was supposed to be looking for a larger body of land to put all the saints on. Okay, with that being established, I'm on the land. It's 2015, and I'm being told that I was sent here because he was praying to Yah to send someone here that knew more about building to replace Jamie Plant. Because Jamie Plant and his family wasn't working out here in Georgia. Well, a part of that problem was Jamie Plant was complaining about the multiple pairs of gym shoes that Brother Rufus had at the time, and having beans and rice almost every meal. So for whatever reason, he packed up his family and he hightailed it out of here. So now I'm on the land and I'm fixing everything and building buildings and, you know, little buildings and little houses according to the vision of Elder Rufus at this time. So in 2015, after getting settled in good around just before the Hebrew year change, around March, my daughter was born. And I was told after my daughter was born that it was time for me to go out and get a job so that I could take care of and support my daughter. So I went out and got a job. That job fell through. Now, all of these jobs are in the construction field. So I worked that job a couple months. That job fell through. Got another job, worked a couple months. That job fell through. Then I landed a job here working for a guy in Georgia who was a deck builder. And he taught me the ins and outs of the decking business here in Georgia. Worked for him for about 3 years. Learned the business real good, and I happened to be showing some work off that I did on Sons of Jacob, which is a Marco Polo apparatus that we were using to communicate. And Pastor Dowell said to me, Brother Vernon, you need to get out from under that heathen and open your own business. So myself and Elder Rufus got to calling. The man of Yah said, get this going. So that's what we did. We opened up a business called Decks, Porches, and More. We looked into getting a contractor's license. That didn't work out because they wouldn't receive my builder's license from Michigan because Georgia doesn't have any reciprocity with Michigan. So they would not receive or accept my builder's license from Michigan. So they wanted $1,000 to take the test. They wanted me to have a certain amount of money in the bank and a certain credit score. So instead of jumping through all those hoops, I learned working with this guy that I worked for 3 years, how to navigate through the system without having to have a builder's license to build decks. And with that being said, the company is now established. He never wanted to build up the company to making money because I mentioned to him if we did a deck a week and on the low end made $5,000 a week for 12 months, you do the math. Even if we did a deck every other week for a year, do the math. I would venture to say over the 4 years, from the time the deck business opened up until the present, I have put close to $250,000 in his hands. Even though we wasn't working on a regular all the time, but we were getting large amounts, large jobs. For instance, we did a job where we made $20,000 in like 7-8 days. Money was coming like that on certain jobs. We would do enclosed porches and things of that nature. $17,000 6 days, 7 days. That's more than some make in 6 months to a year. But he never wanted to build up the decking company. But I'm gonna digress again, y'all. In 2014, Elder Rufus married his second wife. Now this is just to establish his character. 2014, he married his second wife. He did not provide clothing, food, or shelter for this wife. He used her as a cash cow to buy clothes for his wife and some of the saints on the land of the female persuasion. Now, this second wife in 2014 obviously is not Chandray. That came later. But also in 2014, Pastor Dowell did a blog talk and announced that at Tabernacles 2014 that we were going to anoint a pastor in the ministry. So when that came about, he said he was going to anoint Pastor Corey as a shepherd in the ministry. And from his second wife's account, which I had spoken with personally, said that he broke down crying, saying that was supposed to be him, frustrated and angry and jealous that it wasn't him of Pastor Corey, put him on a mission. This second wife of his told me that she gave him $6,000 because she needed a car. She saved up her money, put it in his hand for him to find her a car. He found a car for $1,200 and spent what's that? $4,800 on other things. 2 weeks after getting the car broke down. He then got another vehicle. Ultimately, he got another vehicle that had a car note, and gave it to her and said, here, drive this. Instead of paying your tithes, pay for this car. And she couldn't understand it because, we're supposed to be getting out of debt. Why are we getting into debt? So after that took place, she stopped giving money. She wouldn't buy Mother Jennifer any clothes, or Sister Chandray any clothes, or stop buying wine and stuff for Mother Jennifer and all of that type of thing. So when her income tax rolled around the next year, she did not give him the money. He got highly upset, and that's when he finally gave in to her request for him to put her away. When she did not give him her income tax checks money, he finally put her away. Now, moving back up to 2018, because I believe in 2016, his second wife that he put away was removed from the community. Now, this daughter of Zion that had 6 children and one on the way, for whatever reason, also was put away from the community. Via Elder Rufus. Excuse me. At that time, I was here putting this daughter away that had 6 children and one on the way. Now she has 7. In her departure, the standard of the ministry was to give monies to these people so that they can rent trucks, U-Haul trucks or whatever, to get their things and move them to wherever they wanted to go and to have a little money in their pocket. Well, this daughter of Zion with 7 children now, was given a broke down van and told her to get it the best way you can, pretty much. Because I was the one sent to take her to get a U-Haul truck that the community should have paid for to move her stuff. but she was told to get her own way. So she had to call her people in the world and find a way to get this U-Haul truck paid for and get her stuff moved, which I thought was kind of crazy at the time, but I trust in Yah. So Yah's going to handle that situation. Just like a lot of us brothers here, we moved in a fashion that we are doing Yah's will, which is in turn in 2018, we took Elder Rufus off of the job. The brothers here on the community of Georgia, Straitway, Georgia, we took Elder Rufus off the job. He no longer have to work. We will go out and work, bring in funds for the community so that he would be able to do ministry business, to be more of a service to the community, the saints of the community, and to Straitway Ministries. That is the pretense of why he was taken off the job. This is the pretense of why myself and the brethren was saying that he was not needed on the job site. But when he would come to the job site, I saw in the brothers a different spirit. So over a period of time, seeing this, I began to say, hey, yes, we do need you on the job. Towards the end here, when all of this stuff started coming out, I came to him and other brothers in this brother meeting that we had and told him, yes, we do need you to be on the job. It would be more beneficial for you to be on the job out front leading. Now, mind you, in all this time, Pastor Dowell has been making videos saying that the people are only going to go as far as the leader, dropping wisdom and knowledge that he did not receive because he does not want to work. He don't want to work. Even when we were doing stuff that he could do, yeah, he pitched in a little bit, and then he was pointing the finger. I'm tired. I got to sit down. Sweating. I got to get something to drink. There was always a reason. I got to go make a video. I got to go answer phone calls. Yeah. So he wasn't really there anyway. You can go back over his YouTube videos on his YouTube channel, look at all of them videos over the years, and see this man was not working at all. At all. He played the supervisor role. He touts that when he was in the world, before Straitway, he came into this truth. He said he was making 6 figures as a car salesman. And we all know what they say about car salesmen, right? Go figure. How do you make 6 figures as a car salesman? Come across Straitway. Come to Straitway with a beat up Lincoln and all your glad rags in the trunk of your car from 6 figures. Saying he was paying everybody's bills in the church and everything. I tend to not believe that. I tend to not believe that. Because you don't go from making 6 figures to a beat up Lincoln with your glad rags in the trunk when you know that you can make money. You can take a job and provide for your family, not riding around like a nomad, waiting for others to take care of you. Because that's the account of the last 3 years before he made it to Straitway that he was doing. And he said, Yah had me out here doing this and doing that. That might be so. That might be so. But when it's time to take care of your family, it's time to go out and get a job. Because if a man don't work, a man don't eat. That's just book. And all of these people out here jumped on this bandwagon of all these wonderful videos of a guy with got soap opera music in the background with one side of the story, painting y'all a vision. And oh, woe, Pastor Rufus. Woe is him. Straitway is doing him wrong. This has been a long time coming. It's a lot more that I can talk about. But I'm not trying to air out all the dirty laundry. I just wanted to give y'all a little peek inside of the character of Brother Rufus, Elder Rufus, and Pastor Rufus. This man, in the beginning, when I came here, we were getting $20 a week. That was the standard because we were trying to build up money. And all the brothers understood that and walked in it. As time went on, it went up to 50. As time went on, we were making more money. Every now and then, every blue moon, he'd give us $100. Every blue moon. He buying gym shoes. He buying expensive vehicles. Now these vehicles, none of these vehicles are brand new, but they're still a payment. It's car notes. And he's shuffling around these vehicles. And I'm wondering to myself, why all the vehicles? Why a Lexus and an Audi? Why a Audi and a Genesis? And a Suburban? Why all these cars? We don't. I'm thinking, well, okay, he's traveling a lot, maybe, you know. But in hindsight of 2020, it really wasn't no reason for all these vehicles, these luxury vehicles like that. We needed trucks and things. We needed a van. Now we finally got a van, a used church van, an old church van. You put a little money in it and got it painted and put some rims on it and things of that nature. But then after that, he goes out and he buys a newer van for just his family. He and his family would take little trips, outings, and they would go get an Airbnb for 3-4 days. And this is like Pastor Rufus, his 4 wives, well, 3 at the time, and his daughter. Go out and stay in the Airbnbs and be gone for 3-4 days, and then they'll come back home. New clothes, new shoes, and everything else. We getting $50 a week. Our anniversaries come around, we get $100 to go spend time with our wife on our anniversary. Just recently, like in 2023, I got $200 to go take my wife out. But you doing vacation days with your whole family. When you go out and spend time with your wife for the anniversary, you do in 3-4 days. I always thought when I saw these cars and these shoes and all this stuff that there was something wrong. And I felt a certain kind of way, but I thought, man, you being wicked. Because he's an elder. He has more responsibility. Much is given, much is required. But you know what? It's kind of a Christian thought. Because I went to him and I asked him and I said, in the model of Acts 2 and 4, show me where the apostles had a better life. And this thing that came up, I think it was an exit strategy for Pastor Rufus. Because in 2014, he was crying like a baby and jealous of Pastor Corey for being anointed a pastor, saying that that should have been him. When he became pastor, one, he didn't put none of the lands of the saints that the saints' money put together bought in a foundation. Even if he had to put it in a foundation, only 2 people on the foundation was Pastor Rufus and Mother Jennifer. Now I'm finding this out here at the end, which is strange. Why not put me and another brother on the foundation? Because if he had done that, he wouldn't be able to sell them. That's why I believe that this was an exit strategy. What better resume than to have one of the most elite or the very elite shepherds or pastors in the United States of America on your resume as you step out, ordained by this elite shepherd as a pastor. Think about it. Any and everybody that will listen to this rhetoric on any platform, he is out there playing the victim. If you don't believe me, here's one for you. When you go onto a basketball podcast, what is the conversation on the podcast? It's a basketball podcast, so it should be nothing but basketball talked about, correct? Why is he on a basketball podcast talking about this situation? Straitway did me wrong. I'll meet anybody in the field. What's all this big talk? All that mess he used to talk about these keyboard ninjas, and he doing the same thing. I just don't get it, y'all. He said that he saw a spirit in Pastor Dowell, that he was going to get that spirit. And he said he was doing it because this is what he learned from Pastor Dowell. So, yes, I was presumptuous. The thing he's not telling you is when Pastor Dowell did this to him, it was into the confounds of his living room. It was not out in the open for everybody to see. This was in Pastor Dowell's living room. You don't get to be elder, chief elder, pastor without knowing some etiquette and the word. But this man, Pastor Rufus Carswell, stop living the book. One, all of this money that the saints have put together since he has been off of work from 2018 up until the present. This is our money that he has purchased these lands with. He has them in his name. Now, he says that 14 years of service, he deserved to get something. I thought you was working for Yah. If you working for Yah, you think you deserve $300,000 worth of land that you say you gonna give half the money to the saints? We can't believe nothing you say because you just haven't showed the fruit from it. And that's another thing. I can get into this fruit thing, but I'm not even gonna go there right now. I want to stick with this right here. He is stealing these properties from the saints for his own benefit. Because the book say, freely you receive, freely you give. So your services, you are nothing but a servant, first and foremost. So tell me how he's still living the book. He said he didn't want to get out here and start no ministry. But what is he doing? Soliciting your tithes and offerings, calling them offerings. It's only a matter of time before he set up some stuff or some fellowship somewhere. Starting his own ministry off of another man's back, another man's hard work. 20-something years, Pastor Dowell has been helping communities get started up, helping Israelites get free from this system, from the government. 26 years. This man is finally building him a house. After he done got all the other saints out of trailers into houses and homes. He deserves it. This man has been an inspiration to me since 2011 when Yah first put me in front of him in a video. And in that video, I saw so much strength, honor, and holiness. I wanted it. I desired it. All you people out here putting your mouths on Yah's anointed. Doesn't Yah tell us about that? Tell us not to do that? Doesn't Yah tell us in his word, by two or three witnesses, that a thing can be established? I guess we're throwing it out the window because this side of the story sounds more juicy. So I'm going to stick with this side of the story and I'm going to walk in that way. Again, because a guy got these extravagant videos with all this soap opera music in the back to tug on your heartstrings. Come on. This man has done over 40 hours of videos. He can't be working. He can't be working. Because don't no man do that. Come on, for real? For real, y'all? That's what we doing. And feeding into it. I tell you, all of y'all that's falling into this, y'all gonna get what y'all deserve. Because Yah is going to move on Israel first. And all of y'all that tout y'all Israel and ain't living the book, Yah have mercy. But guess what? The sin is done. And there has to be a payment for it. I can go on and on. I really can. And it's a lot that I left out. But I think y'all get the picture. I think y'all get the picture. This is just a testimony of an eyewitness account. Do with it as y'all may. Hopefully, somebody can have the ear to hear. Somebody can be saved from this falling away and falling out because of this situation. And that's another thing. Being a shepherd, I'm going to show you how selfish this is. We have a few new people here that was coming to fellowship. And then he pulls this mess. Not thinking about all the saints that's going to have to deal with this, fight this battle because of this separation that he started. And look at all the babes that's having a problem with this that may be falling away. This is selfish because it ain't about the saints. This is about him. Y'all can't see that? Y'all can't see that. He said he would adhere to the judgment and would not make videos. And that's the first thing he did, jumped out there making videos. Oh, help me. Look how Straitway is doing me. They're doing me wrong. I tell you, we as a people, like Pastor Dowell said, we are special people. We are a special people. We really are. We really are. But this video been long enough. Like I said, I can go on and on and on, but I think I said enough. I hope y'all get the picture. And I believe that you have gotten a good picture of the character of Pastor Rufus Carswell Jr. I'm signing off. This your Uncle V. Shalom. The King is coming.